In Soweto, of course, you saw the developments outside Maponya Mall throughout the day. We speak to Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC Kedibone Diale-Tlabela, who is joining us this evening. MEC, good evening, and thank you so much for your time. You had a briefing session with the residents afterwards, just after the meeting that you would have had with some of the representatives there, and it seemed that some of the residents post that particular meeting were not happy with what was being said there. So let's speak about the key areas, of agreement and finality that you would have then made or reached as a part of the agreement from that meeting.
Thank you very much. First, we have met with the family through our law enforcement agencies of Diale-Tlabela, who passed on yesterday. And the family was here in Gauteng, and they have done their rituals and have collected his spirit. And they are en route to KZN as I talk to you. The second issue, and obviously given support by our law enforcement agencies as well as the taxi industry and the e-hailing services in Soweto, we met with all stakeholders and also with community leaders represented in our meeting. You would have noticed that we had a marathon of meetings. We met in the morning, and when we went to address the community, they disputed those that were claiming to be representing them and gave us another delegation, as well as the e-hailers who were there. And we went back and had another meeting, and we all agreed on what then needs to happen. So one of the key issues was, first,
pardon me, go ahead.
Say again?
I was saying, you can go ahead.
Okay, one of the issues is the community was concerned that the e-hailers are not allowed to enter the center that is Maponya Mall. And the taxi industry, there are allegations that the taxi industry is bullying other modes of transport, like the e-hailers. And the center manager presented to us that they have created a platform where councillors, e-hailing services people sit, as well as taxi industry and law enforcement in Soweto. They sit together to deal with the conflicts and the disputes that they continue to have. A challenge that was expressed in the meeting was that the e-hailers changes face from time to time, so there's no consistency in the leadership of e-hailing that sits in those meetings, and as a result, that takes back the committee from time to time.
So, MEC, pardon me, in the interest of time, right, we did hear that part in the morning about how they're changing face, and you were calling on them to then have, in fact, consistent representatives so that you're able to implement whatever agreements you make. But one would ask, this evening as we speak, is the mall going to be operating as of tomorrow? And are you going to have the imbizo that you were suggesting that maybe you should have with the residents?
The mall will open tomorrow morning, and it will continue operating as usual. The public transport operators in that area will continue to provide the service, and the community leaders have advised us that we will have to reconvene some other time just to listen to community issues. But the critical issue they raised, which they believe is critical, is the removal of fidelity in the mall. And there is an issue of the center in the community there. Really, I don't know how, as government, I'm going to be choosing service providers for a mall.
I suppose,
but all other issues raised by the community as it relates to public transport operations were addressed and agreed upon.
MEC, I suppose where they're asking you to come in, right, on that point of the security is that, for example, I have even witnessed some of this as a resident of Soweto myself. When you go to the mall, and you are a private citizen, even trying to pick up your own family member, you would not be allowed in some of these instances. And security will not even be there to assist you, to protect you, in order to be able not to come under fire from the taxi drivers. So that is in part possibly what they are trying to communicate. And one would then ask, what is going to be done about some of the taxi operators, not all of them, but some of them who continue to bully some of the people there?
What we said to our law enforcement agencies is that they must make sure that communities are safe first, and the Gauteng Transport Inspectorate will be on site on a daily basis to ensure that we protect individuals who are providing public transport service in that area, as well as protect community members. What we also have said, and we will get a report on next week from the center manager, is tighten up your security, deal with these issues that communities are raising. But also we said to the taxi industry and the e-hailers themselves that they need to sort out how then do they protect each other and protect their customers. They all assured me that
hang on, MEC,
the model
pardon me, how will they do that? Pardon me, I just want clarity on that. How will they do that? How are you saying that they must ensure that they protect each other?
Remember, I just told you that the center had already established a platform where all these parties are sitting.
Yeah.
And amongst the issues raised is issue of security, which we have formally now set to the JMPD, SABC, and all law enforcement agencies that there's an issue of security here, and there's an issue of accessibility by other public transport operators. That meeting should sit down, outline, and finalize the matter and make sure that everybody who operates there operates freely and is able to pick. The center manager even showed me the drop and pick up spot for e-hailers.
So, MEC, pardon me.
And where they will drop them.
Pardon
the challenge has been different faces and different issues and internal squabbles within the e-hailers themselves. And we've pleaded with them to organize themselves better. They all agreed that Mkari, because he's the one who has been advocating for their unit, will then coordinate them and then we'll have an agreement. So we're still to sit with them. How do we and who do we recognize when we discuss some of these issues?
Pardon me for cutting you short. I'm just trying to get through as much as possible in the interest of time. But you're saying that they need to ensure that they protect each other. That's what I'm trying to get to. Because you're saying they need to make sure that they protect each other. The e-hailing drivers must make sure that they protect themselves as well as the passengers, and the taxi operators as well must do the same. How are you suggesting they do this? That was the question.
We have a platform created, and in the platform created, the e-hailers are part of it and the taxi industry are part of it. There were allegations and counter-allegations on what is really transpiring. And I'm happy that they all agreed that, hey, Lana, if we don't close ranks, we are going to be the biggest losers ourselves as the public transport operators. And that's why we mandated them that their unit is quite important for all of us, and they need to really sit down together. And that's why the e-hailers also agreed that they'll be represented by what they have formed themselves now and call themselves the Soweto e-hailer service providers, which we will all recognize, and everybody who needs to belong, will encourage them to belong to that grouping so that we have consistency and are able to take the issues forward. They have a model that works for them in Protea Lane, and there's a model that we will copy and implement in Maponya Mall.
So let's see then if you succeed with that model, but of course it's a developing story. We'll let you go. Thank you so much for talking to us. That is the Gauteng Roads and Transport MEC, Kedibone Diale-Tlabela.